For every time that you point the finger of blame to another individual about any single circumstance within your life, you are giving away your power. Now, I'm not saying that there are not people in your life who are to blame for the things in your life. I'm not saying that anybody else in your life does not have any responsibility for those wounds that you are now healing through. What I am saying is when you stay in a state, in a condition of blame, when you remain in a place where you are pointing outwards, you will never have the energy. You won't have enough in you to give to yourself to heal through those situations. Now, I have found myself in this place many of times when I believe that so long as I knew who my enemies were, so long as I knew who the people who hurt me were, and I kept a close eye on them, then I would be safe. I believe that my safety in this universe came from holding people in that place, holding people in that space of bitterness and resentment, of keeping enemies, of holding on to grudges. And it may not be that extreme for you. Maybe you might not see it as enemies, but maybe for you it's just, I know what that person did. That person is this, that, and the third, and I'm never going to forgive. I'm never going to let them go. And I tell you this, that is a choice. You have the choice, the God-given autonomy and the right to never forgive anybody in your life. But I promise you that for as long as you do, you also hold yourself away from your true power. You will never live your own life. You will always and forever be subject to somebody else's control for as long as you hold on to that spirit of hatred. Now, love and hate, they say, are two sides of the same coin. And I do agree in one part that love and hate have a very similar characteristic where love is an absolute focus on something. It's an undivided attention to something, whereas hate is also an undivided focus and devotion to one thing, one subject, one idea, one person in most times. And so when we hate somebody, we are giving them our undivided attention. Most people say we're giving them rent-free space in our head. I say we're giving them rent-free space in our entire being, because each time you hold on to hatred and you bring up a memory of that person, the idea, the concept of that person, you can feel them in your body. You can feel them at a cellular level. There is an emotional experience. There is a mental experience. There's a very visceral physical experience. And for more people than not, there ends up being a manifestation of that hatred as some form of dis-ease. And so I say again, it is an option. It is a choice that you can make if you want to hold on to that spirit of bitterness, that spirit of anger, that state of hatred. But so long as you hold on to it, it's going to be holding on to you. And for as long as you hate somebody for who they are or what you perceive them to be and what they have done, you will become the very same thing that you hate. That is how the cycle perpetuates. That is how generational curses become generational, as opposed to being one individual's curse that was broken because they made the conscious decision to clear themselves of that dark energy, of that negative spirit that they were deciding to hold on to. Nobody else can make a decision whether or not we're going to hold on to a dark spirit than ourselves. All a spirit is a state of being. All that energy is what we're holding on to in our consciousness and what we're deciding to hold on to. And sometimes it feels impossible. I know it. I know sometimes it feels as if you cannot let that person go. And the reason is most of us view forgiveness as this thing of, if I let that person go, it means I have to let them back in. And that is not true. You already have that person in. Because you have chosen not to forgive, you're actually holding on to that person. In the spiritual sense, you're holding on to them emotionally and mentally and sometimes even physically. You'll start to run into that person, and there'll be different ways in which law of attraction puts you in the frequency and the vicinity of that very same individual. So I say this, and I say this because I love you. If you do not forgive, which means letting go of the person, the situation, and the circumstance, if you do not forgive, you will forever find yourself in the same cycle, attracting not just that person, but people exactly like them. That is how the universe works. That is how life is created. We create life through our own thoughts. which then lead to our own emotions. So when we are in a certain vibration, a certain frequency, and we're in the frequency of hatred, we're in that low vibrational spirit, we're going to continue to attract those low vibrational situations, circumstances, situations, and interactions into our lives. I promise you this, like I put this on my entire being. I put this on my entire life, that this is the irrefutable truth of life. You are the creator of life, and your creation comes through your attention and your focus. And each time you are focusing on something that is disempowering, you give your power away. Hatred is a disempowering spirit. It's a disempowering energy and a state of mind. Bitterness, resentment, these are treacherous, dark, dense energies that will keep you trapped forever. And you will never get your power, or you will never operate in your power. You will never walk in your power. Some people think that they are exercising power because they go into the voodoo mommy and they're doing voodoo spells on those people that did them wrong, not knowing that they are putting that very same voodoo spell on themselves. Do you understand that? The person who is going in the spirit of I want this person to suffer is actually creating suffering for their very selves. That's how that works. How you treat another is how you are treating yourself. That's how that works. And so this video is straightforward. I wanted to make it as short as possible and as direct as possible. Your power is given away when you hold on to things, when you hold on to the past, or when you hold on to possible fears of the future. You give your power away because your power lays in the now. Your creative power, your power of infinite possibility, your power that is supposed to propel you into your vision, into your purpose, into your calling in life. What is stopping you from going into that space, from living in that place and keeping you in that fight or flight, keeping you in that cycle, that negative cycle that you have known for far too long now, is the decision to hold on. Now, I've created an entire video just dedicated towards how to forgive, and I'm going to link that video, or at least suggest that video, for the next one you need to watch, because this one is going to give you the actual recipe, the process, the tools that you can use to forgive and move forward. I'm not saying forgive isn't letting somebody back in. That's not forgiveness in most cases. Forgiveness doesn't even have to do with the other person. It has to do with freeing yourself from those situations, circumstances that you've been holding on to for far too long. I appreciate you. I love you. Peace.